Creating a guest list for your wedding can feel so delicate. Wanting to keep the guest list intimate in size, but still inviting the people who matter the most to you and your partner, but also trying not to keep anyone left out. It's not easy, and I know that feeling, and I know how hard it can feel for you to try and please everyone. Welcome to Bride and Joy. My name is Amanda Thompson. First of all, try not to please everyone because it's not going to happen. So let's get into our tips on how you can create the guest list that you want to have and for you to have the process of it being a bit easier. First of all, set a budget and the venue capacity. When you've chosen, you can either do one or the other. If you've chosen a venue and they have a capacity of 150, that's your guest maximum. If it's the other way around and you have an indication of that you will be roughly 70 guests, but then your venue capacity can fit 80, then you are okay with bringing in another 10 people if you want to. You don't have to feel as if you have to please anyone, so don't do that if you want to please anyone. But think about your venue capacity and your budget in this situation. Do you have any budget constraints? Because the more guests you add on in your overall budget, the more expensive your wedding will be, because it's not just the actual person. It is the more guests, it's more tableware to rent in, it's more tables, it's more chairs, it's more tablecloths, it's more flowers on the tables, more candles, it's more food, it's more drinks. So it's a total that goes into the more guests you invite, the more expensive it gets. Your guest lists will directly impact the overall cost of your wedding. And this goes for everything: the catering, the invitations, the florals, and the favors. So before you start saying, I want 150 people or I want 200, decide on a budget that includes the number of guests that you can afford. And if you have chosen a venue, then try and get an understanding of how many and what the capacity of that venue is and how many you can have there. And each venue does have a capacity, so make sure that your guest list is within those limits. Second, start with close family and friends. This can be tricky for some, and also some couples have a partner that has a bigger family than yourself. So that means that you might have 5 to 10 family members that you want to invite, but maybe your partner has almost 50. So you can either decide to even that out, or you can decide on inviting your smaller number and his or hers bigger number. This is completely up to you. Some people try and even it out, but it has to be thought through the eyes of yourself. Don't think about what is right, what is wrong, because there is no two lines under the answer here. But the whole point is for you to understand. The whole point is to invite people that you want to have there for your wedding day. So it doesn't matter if it's friends or family. And some people have a way closer relationship with your friends than your actually family members. So make sure that you're inviting people that you want to have there on your wedding day, and that will make it so much more fun for you also. First of all, start with prioritizing your immediate family, like mother, father, parents, siblings, and grandparents. These are often the people that will have a central part or a central role in your day anyways. And then as a bonus, you can start adding in aunts and uncles and cousins. And I don't know, people have so many different versions. Like if you go to Brazil, I remember I took my husband to Brazil and he went, and I said, oh, this is a cousin and this is a cousin. Is it actually a cousin, or is it just someone you call a cousin? So people have so many different cultures in this. So you have to find out who are your important people, who is your important or your immediate family that you want to have there. When you've done that little round off on close family, then start thinking about close friends. Who are the closest to you? Who do you imagine hanging out with in the next 10 years? Who do you imagine having around you if you're also on your way to create a family, spending weekends together? And these people will have a significant impact on your life, and you will want to have them there on your wedding day. So when you've looked at your side and when your partner has looked at his or her side, then make sure that you talk about how many and who are the important people that you want to have there on your wedding day. And decide on a type of wedding. Do you want it formal? Do you want it a bit more with a lot of people? Do you come from a family where you have to invite loads of friends of your parents and where that is tradition? Or do you not have to go that way? Can you have it a bit more casual, where it's maybe a bit more intimate? The tone of your wedding will help determine the type of guest that you're inviting. So for a formal event, you might be able to just have friends and close family and say that's who you're inviting. But if you have a way more casual wedding, then you might invite a broader group, everything from co-workers, distant relatives, family and friends, and maybe a broader group of friends. This is very individual. So my indication is always, are these people that I will hang out with in the next 10 years' time? Do I see them in my day-to-day life or in my important ceremonies of life, if you can call it that? Then if you do, then have them around you. Just remember to think about if it's an intimate gathering, fewer guests, or if it's a larger celebration. This will make your guest list's decision way easier, and it's easier for you to say, okay, because we do have 150 people, because we do have 300, then it's okay to invite friends of parents. If it's not, if you want 40 people, it might not be an idea to invite friends of family. But sometimes maybe your mother has a really close friend that's been there throughout your whole childhood. Maybe you will want that person there. This is such an individual part for everyone and so important to think about. And again, not thinking about what everyone else will do and how I can please everyone else, but really thinking down to who do you want to have there and who's important to you. And the fourth, avoid the +1 dilemma early on. Be clear about +1s. Do you want them there or do you not? Sometimes it's better to limit it to people that actually do have serious relationships, depending on how many +1s there are. If it's a fling every other weekend, then maybe that's not the right person to bring. If that feels rude to you, then tell them to bring the person. So this is also a very individual thing that you have to think about. But think about, especially if you're on a tighter budget, then you may choose to not offer +1s. But then again, if you are inviting a guest that you know is maybe single, then maybe giving them a +1, if they don't know many people, might make that way easier for them to come and actually spend the day with you. But this is also very individual, because I really do believe that if that person wants to be there on your wedding day, and if that person is important to you, then that person will be there on the wedding day. And the fifth one, be prepared for adjustments and sensitivity. This means at the end of every wedding planning, when you're getting closer to the date, be realistic about that there are people that will not necessarily drop out because they want to drop out, but they drop out maybe because of illness or because of something else. Before COVID, it used to be maybe 20% in destination weddings that didn't show. Now, I will say that number is higher because it feels like people want to travel more because they had that pause. This means that now I would say maybe around 10% don't come. And it's normally because it's a sickness, or maybe they have sick children, or something that pops up that isn't allowing them to either travel or to go to your wedding. And on a general note, there are so many that feel that they have to invite people that are important to them that maybe aren't as important to them as you think. And maybe you would prefer not to have that person there. To be honest, don't invite that person. Set boundaries and prioritize those people that are very important to you, that you really do want to have there on your wedding day. And some might feel left out. They always do. But your reply can be, we had to make some tough decisions due to limited space. And that can be your reply to them. But as a little bonus, I do recommend that you have a backup list. So what I normally tell our couples is set up an A list, which is everyone that you want to have there. Say you have space for 80 people and you have maybe 70 guests on this list that are people that you really want to have there. So if a few of these people, after you've sent out your invitation, if a few of these people say, no, thank you, we will not be able to attend, then tell them that list number 2, the B list, have a couple of people there that you then can send out an invitation to that might be able to be there on your wedding day, that are people that you would like to have there, but not necessarily can fit it in due to then you can't have that many guests, for example. All in all, be thoughtful about who you invite for your wedding day. If you do invite people that you don't necessarily want to have there, you will have that hanging over you. And if you do have people that you feel like you have to invite, and this can be an aunt or an uncle or someone that you feel like you have to invite because it's the sister of your mother, even your own mother, and maybe you don't even want to have that person there. There are so many different relationships, then if there is someone that normally would start off something, then ask a friend to be able to have an extra set of eyes on them. I always tell our couples, if there's anything with anyone, please let us know in advance so we can help you take care of them. It's so important for my couples to feel that they're seen, heard, and taken care of. So to sum it up, make sure that you've thought about your budget and how many guests you really want to have there. Start with your close family and friends. Then move on to your broader friendly group. Decide if you want to have a formal or a casual wedding. This will also help you decide how many guests you'll want to have there. Talk about the plus ones. Will they be there? Will they not? And be prepared for the adjustments and the sensitivity that comes along with guests maybe not being able to be there. And have that bonus of having extra people on your be guest list so you can invite them in case you have more space, so then you will able to have the people that you want to have there around you. Thank you for tuning in. I really hope that you find it easier to go through a guest list, to think about who you want to have there, and to make the wedding day memorable for yourself and not everyone else. Stay tuned for next week's episode. It's already in the loop.